I'm Benjamin Dauphin. I'm a researcher at the Suiza Research Institute, and I'm mostly working in the field of ecological genomics, working especially on trees, but also on ectomycorrhizal fungi. So we are interested to understand what's the genetic basis of adaptation of these organisms, how they can cope with environmental changes, and what's the potential for adapting to extreme environments. We have evidence that forestry species have adapted to different environmental conditions. This has been shown in almost all continents, but little is known about underground organisms. So really, the species that are living in soil, we have no evidence of such patterns, or very little. So mycorrhizal fungi live in symbiosis with the host, with forestry species, shrubs, and plants. So they are affected to environmental changes in a way, but we don't really know what's the impact of this environmental change, climate change, on these soil-dwelling organisms. There is certainly an impact, but it's really hard to measure at the moment. Patagonia ecosystems are very unique. They they are shaped by keystone forestry species, nothofagus species, and these trees have a very long generation time. So it needs a lot of time to establish and produce seeds that can then produce the next generation. So we are interested to study how the generation time of these forestry species and the time needed for these ecosystems to establish can be somehow. So we are interested to see how the long generation time of these forestry species are impacted by environmental changes and global warming, and how this can be translated to our European forests that have also these characteristics, like the Swiss stone pine forest in Switzerland. So these trees can live for a very long time, up to several hundred of years, and they need this time to establish and to shape a forest. So when we see an increase of temperature of about 2 or 4 degrees Celsius in a few decades, we can question whether here next to the pole, where we know that warming is even worse, how this can affect this nothofagus forest. It has been shown that the poles are warming up faster than the rest of the world. Of course, this is based on relative measures. It's still cold in the poles, but they are warming up faster as compared to the tropics or to the temperate forests. So we are in a place where, when there is a change in temperature, the forests can react also rapidly, although they have these generation time characteristics. So this is something we have to better understand to predict the future fate of this forest. For sure, we have different cultures and different perceptions. Different perceptions as we are scientists, artists, curators. We see a pattern in a very different way, with a different eye, with a different background and experience. And we have the privilege to discuss all together this view on the same object, on the same processes, and we want to bring together a comprehensive view on how our people can perceive our work in a way that is useful for the society. We use well-established methodologies of how to collect samples, how to preserve samples, but we also make use of other approaches, other techniques. How can we document all this work? How we can gain visibility and promote this work? For example, for this photogrammetry imaging that I have never heard before. It's also an interesting approach to give accessible these macroscopic organisms and how they are living in soil. That's the main limitation of today, I think. People don't really know what is going on in soil. They don't know that this is where we have the most terrestrial biodiversity on Earth, and this is where most of the fungi are living in. Scientists need creativity as well. They need to push the boundaries of their mind and how we perceive our research, and this is great that we can also exchange with people that we have trust in. The other thing that is even more important, I think, is we question ourselves quite a lot in science, also between colleagues. We question ourselves all the time. Do you do it in the right way? Do you think you can improve this and that? But we don't need more questions in science, I think. We need other perceptions. We need questions coming from outside, and the artists and curators can bring that in that context. So this is really interesting to try to answer questions that are proposed by the whole team. I'm here at the tip of the world to study all together with different people with different background, these very stable ecosystems that we believe they are in an autophagous forest, where we know that climate change is acting on, but we have no data, no observations to document these changes, and particularly in soil. So our goal is to characterize ectomycorrhizal fungi and the biodiversity of soil organisms. We are taking here soil samples, root samples, to document this biodiversity and then relate it to environmental changes or to environmental conditions that we know today.